Hi, everyone. I'm David Marinak. I wanted to touch base. If you are the sales manager for a packaging reseller, I can't emphasize enough. This is not a commercial for Sandler or Sales Concepts. What this is a commercial for is sales training. Packaging resellers over the last 25 years have been horribly trained. And this is as much the fault of all of us. 25, 30 years ago, the packaging reseller really was kind of like a hired gun, and they were really in charge of their own destiny. Many in this space, and they're now getting clipped right now, many in this space have decided to take that company car and steady salary and just be a Me Too type of sales guy and drive around and pick up orders. Now, I don't care whether in whatever company we're dealing with, whether it's Veritiv or Millcraft or Uline or all those other kind of stocking distributors, is a way to call them. They don't make anything. Okay. And what happened was over the years, as many of these companies hired these sales guys at a very nominal amount, gave them a company car, and they drove around and picked up orders. The Cleveland Clinic, Great Lakes Brewery, every city has these guys. And they would sell one guy, bubble wrap, another guy pallets, another guy paper, another guy copy paper, another guy boxes. These guys we basically trained them to and accepted them to just be lazy, be order takers. And that works when the economy is great, when everybody's making money. But get into COVID now. And what happened was in this situation, which I believe is a tremendous opportunity, there's a lot of these guys were either let go, meaning the Veritivs, the U lines, the whoever these big distributors are. They've either put these guys on a draw, meaning the salary is no longer guaranteed. They took away the company car or made them pay for it. Basically, they put these guys all on notice that they needed to start to produce other things than just the standard orders they picked up all the time. Suddenly, these guys became desperate. Suddenly, the guys and gals became desperate. They didn't know how to react. And you add in COVID, where you really couldn't see anybody, you couldn't really visit anybody. Everybody was kind of working remotely, and you couldn't really go in and talk with these people. You couldn't even share new ideas or new materials. What happened was is that it exposed not only the U lines and the Grangers and Berlin Packaging, who basically in many instances passed themselves off as a manufacturer. Whether they said it directly or it was implied, the point is many companies fell for that. Because remember, we're not dealing with professional buyers anymore. We're dealing with clerks. These clerks are gullible. They call themselves a buyer, but they're not a buyer. They're just a clerk. They do whatever the computer tells them to do. Anyhow, expose the suppliers who were not manufacturers. Now they couldn't get their products, and now they're not able to quickly deliver. Then it exposed the sales reps, on the other hand, who don't understand how to think themselves out of a situation. Meaning, if they've always used paper to solve problems and they can't get the paper, well, then what do? And basically, they become deer in the headlights and they don't do anything. In the core of this are the end users or the customers themselves, and the customers are the ones getting shafted. This to me is really a glaring sign of improper sales training. As sales managers, your job is to teach your reps how to sell, or give them the tools to sell better, or give them the tools to be able to think their way through projects, and basically not do a bunch of free advice or free designs and give it away. My point with all of this is I've never seen more terribly trained, and lack of a better way to put it, salespeople in the packaging space. Sales managers, I hold you accountable for this. This is your job. Whether this comes out of the company's budget or whatever it is, you got to get your people trained now more than ever. If they're selling packaging related products, there's such an opportunity, but they have to be able, meaning your reps have to be able to think themselves looking at different packaging products, different components, different ways to combine them, different ways to buy them, different ways to source them, different ways to supply chain them. And there, if your reps don't understand how to say no, how to say yes, how to come through and deliver for their clients instead of just empty promises, how to actually stand tall and say, yes, we can do that, or no, we can't do that, or stand tall and say, I need to have this at 45 cents, not 2 cents, or whatever it is, and be able to have the tools, the wherewithal to stand tall and go, here's why I'm priced at where I'm at. And this is a real issue. For 25 years, we hired a bunch of hired guns that just sold on price, cheap, 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 cheap. Now, at a time when value and total lowest cost is needed, but it doesn't mean cheap. That doesn't mean race to the bottom. That doesn't mean crap material. You've got to be able to provide solutions for your customers. If you can't do that, or your reps can't do that, you're not going to win. I don't understand why it's so frustrating to me when I see reps, they're contacting me and they're wondering, is there some miracle, some magic wand that they can suddenly wave and get their orders or get orders from a client? And subsequently, when that happens, when they're so desperate, they're making stupid decisions. They're taking orders they have no business taking. They're chasing products they have no business chasing. They're trying to get into these home run situations like, gee, I'm going to sell cannabis. I'm going to get into the cannabis business. And again, the point is that that's a tough regulated business. That's not something that we chase or are involved in, for the simple fact that it's federally regulated. Second of all, it's run by a bunch of stoners. That doesn't mean there's not professionals in this space. Don't get me wrong. And it doesn't mean there's not money in this space. Don't get me wrong. But everybody, I have not met anybody in all the years that have been in this kind of chasing the cannabis space, and they've talked about it. When they're honest, I have not met in all the years, I have not met anybody from Michigan where this has been legal for recreation and medicinal. I haven't met anybody in Oregon or Portland in the packaging space, in the cannabis packaging space, that has actually made big money. They've done transactions, but it's been small potatoes. It hasn't been what they thought. Maybe the growers and makers of this shit, they're the ones that make big money. It's fine. Whatever, knock yourself out. What I'm getting at is so many of these packaging resellers are desperate for anything, and they're taking orders that are bad business, that are bad for your business as a sales manager. They're bad. They're seductive as hell, and you think that they're going to suddenly put your company on the map, and it's not. All these vape pens and rolling papers and all that stuff that's out there, all that stuff is made overseas. And many of these US based companies that want to be in the cannabis packaging space, they don't understand how to source globally. So they're going to Green Rush, and they're going to some of these distributors of cannabis packaging, thinking they're going to be able to piggyback and make money, and they're not. A lot of these recreational or distributors or growers or whatever you call them, they're already buying directly from the Green Rushes of the world. They're already buying from companies that are sourcing directly from China. There are opportunities. There are definitely opportunities if you want to get down this road. But the opportunities are, you've got to have sales trained professionals that understand what's good business and what's bad business, what's good for you and what's not. Chasing a bunch of stoners trying to make big money on something that I have yet to find anybody in any state of this business that's ever made big money, that's ever been able to do anything more than just smaller runs, test orders, whatever. And that just to me is really pathetic. Do whatever you want, but my plea to sales managers out there, it's your job to train your reps how to sell better, how to sell effectively, and either connecting with a company like Sandler or connecting with companies that do this for a living, like Sandler. Wherever you're at, get them trained. You can do it remotely. You don't have to be face to face, although that helps. And it really helps to work with people that can help your reps role play and to be able to kind of find out and get past these gatekeepers, get to real people that make decisions. I had a rep that asked me to go with him. I'm not selling him anything, but go with him to help him in this space. I don't sell him anything. He just is an old friend that wanted me to go. Now, the problem I ran into, and I said it, was these growers in this space hired some young kid who has no clue what he's doing, has no clue how to purchase anything. And you want to combine that with sales reps who have no clue how to sell, who have no clue how to find the right products. Now you've got a shit show on both sides. And then nothing gets done, or the products get delivered incorrectly, or the product is ordered improperly, or the sale doesn't happen properly. All this stuff is happening because nobody is being trained properly to say yes or no and mean it. I hope this is helpful. Please get your people trained. It's not expensive. It's priceless, to be honest with you, if you want to be effective or your folks to be effective in 2024 and beyond. Thanks.